What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckheischer here with the Man Hour. Try to head to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page, score. Check out the blog section as well. New blogs dropping each and every day over there. It is fire over there. Fire, fire, fire. Speaking of fire, Brandon BC Combs, my right-hand man, is on fire right now. Combsy, what's up? Good afternoon, man.
What is going on, Michael Buckheischer? What is going on, Man Hour Nation? Let's just get fucking to it right now, Buck.
Let's do it. What do you want to get to?
What about the Miami Dolphins really moved the needle for you since you said they nailed the offseason? Was it the addition of Mike White, a perennial backup in the league? Was it the additional of the offensive lineman Dan Feeney, who nobody even knows who the hell he is?
I like that.
Maybe it was wide receiver Braxton Berrios, or maybe the fact that they added punter Jake Bailey. Like, what part of that offseason were you just like, you know what? They're the third best team in the NFL heading into the draft.
You forgot the biggest name, the biggest offseason move of this season, and that is Jalen Ramsey to the Miami Dolphins, Combs. That defense just got a hell of a lot better, and Mike White is probably going to start more games than Tua this season. Let's just be flat out honest about that. Mike White might be a, quote, piano bowl, or how do you say the word? Hey, how do you say that word? He'll be a backup forever, but that back is going to win them a lot of games. He's going to lead them to the playoffs.
Buck, you had the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending champions, at number 6.
Yeah, and my team.
They're the defending champions. What? Right, they're your team. What about their offseason has said, you know what? This team that has been the best team in the NFL over the last 12 months.
Yeah.
What makes them not the best team in the NFL heading pre-draft?
No McCall Hardman, no Juju, no Frank Clark. They let go 5 other starters as well on the defensive side of the ball. No Orlando Brown Jr. Yes, he may have been overrated and overpaid, but guess what? The Chiefs overpaid for a Jacksonville Jaguars lineman to come in there to do what? To probably give up another 10 sacks this season as well. So the Chiefs got a lot worse this offseason, Combs. A lot worse.
Okay, I'll give you that. That's your team. That's what you have. What about you had the Miami Dolphins at 3, Buck, over the Philadelphia Eagles.
Eagles lost
NFC
Miles
champion.
Sanders. They lost some. They lost both of their safeties, a cornerback as well. Overpaid for Slay to come back.
Buck,
and check this out, Combs. It is if history proves itself over and over and over again, right? The loser of the NFC in the Super Bowl never makes the playoffs. Doesn't make the playoffs the following year.
So that's why you have the Dolphins better than the Philadelphia Eagles right now?
Yeah. On paper, the Miami Dolphins are better. Tua, if healthy, is better than Jalen Hurts.
They replaced the Philadelphia Eagles replaced their running back with Rashad Penny. Pretty damn good replacement. They still got A.J. Brown. Last time I checked, Devontae Smith, yeah. Jalen Hurts.
Right.
Went and picked up Marcus Mariota to be their backup. I mean, still have one of the best offensive lines in football. Still have one of the best defensive lines in football. Still have one of the best defenses, period, in football. You know, they still have James Bradbury as a cornerback. They are heads and tails better than the Miami Dolphins.
We're talking about the same James Bradbury that held in the Super Bowl, right?
We're talking about the same James Bradbury that got called for a holding in the Super Bowl.
May got called. Well, whatever.
How about having the Detroit Lions, who just traded Jeff Okudah for a 5th-round pick?
That was made before that trade happened. I just want to put that out there.
That was a dumb trade. I still don't understand that trade whatsoever.
What, they got a 3rd-round pick for him, right?
5th round.
5th-round pick.
A 5th-round pick.
Yeah.
For a guy who was picked 3rd overall in the NFL draft just 3 years ago, finally had his first healthy season, played a full season.
Right. Yeah. To be honest with you, I don't understand that trade at all, because it is not like he was going to get a lot of money, and I think he's only owed like $5.5 million this season, anyways. Mm-hmm. And it's not like they're going to make a play for a cornerback this offseason, because I don't think there's any more free agent cornerbacks worth a damn.
And in games played in the last 3 seasons, Jeff Okudah allowed fewer catches than Jalen Ramsey, J.R. Alexander, and Trayvon Diggs.
Wow, I did not know that. That is really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they gave him up for a fifth. It was the most Detroit Lions trade of all time. I mean, there has to be something internal there because for football reasons, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, man.
To have the Detroit Lions up there, even the Minnesota Vikings right now in the top 10 is kind of questionable. I'll give it to you just because they're probably going to be a division winner.
Right.
But to have them ahead of the Dallas Cowboys right now, who you just got done saying are the best team in football.
That was completely
whatever. I mean, I know you're a Cowboy fan.
That was just buying the hype.
Last I checked, Dak Prescott is still their quarterback.
And he's still a really good quarterback. Let's just be honest.
He just can't win in January.
Yeah, either can Lamar Jackson. Didn't we just have that debate like last week? I think who's better, Dak Prescott or Lamar Jackson? But
yeah, your rankings are more than a little suspect. I'll give you an F- on your rankings.
Yeah, I was actually going to get a white T-shirt and write like an F- on there just to like troll you like a little bit. But I woke up a little late this morning. But like how would you change it? I mean, I did put a secondary ranking out there, like, but how would you fix it?
I would, for one, I still have the Chiefs at number 1, just because until they prove to me that they're not the number 1 team in the NFL, they're the number 1 team in the NFL. Bengals at 2, Niners are another tough one. They don't know who their quarterback is going to be, and I understand that they have a defense that can carry any quarterback to a playoff, like I said yesterday, but they still don't know who the hell their quarterback is going to be. So to have them at 3 to me is a little high. I would probably have the Buffalo Bills at 3. I would go. Let's see. You had Chiefs, Bengals, Bills. I'd probably throw the Cowboys over at 4. I'd have the Eagles at 5.
Okay, so hang on one second.
Yep.
Weren't you just dogging me about the Eagles only being at number 4? You can have them at number 5. I'm just okay.
I wasn't dogging you for having them at number 4. I was dogging you for having them behind the Dolphins.
Okay. I'm just making sure we're on the same page.
It's just who you have ahead of people. It's kind of crazy to me. But after that, you could argue I would probably have the Niners at 6. I would actually have the Jaguars at 7. I really would. I think the Jaguars are a really good team, and I don't think they're getting worse. I think they're getting better.
Dan says no love for the Eagles. No. The Eagles. Dan, I told you, man. History repeats itself, and the NFC loser of the Super Bowl does not make the playoffs the following year. The exception, I think the exception was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that was because they had like six wins, and the rest of the division had like 4.
Yeah, look, I like the Eagles. I really do. There's just putting them in the top 10, which means you're in the top third of the league, that's not disrespect. That's saying right now that yes, you're a really good team, but there's other teams that are better than you right now. If you can't admit as an Eagles fan that right now the Bengals are better than you, the Chiefs are better than you, they proved it in the Super Bowl. If you can't accept the fact that the Buffalo Bills on paper are better than you, like, I'm not saying that in the end, look, all these AFC teams are not going to be ahead of you because not all of them can come out of the AFC.
Right.
Only one of them come out of but to look at those teams and say, wow, the Eagles are the 4th or 5th best team in the league, that's not a slight against the Eagles. That's the problem with fan bases. These fans will be like, oh man, you said that this team is better than my team. Well, I can't have every team at number 1, Dan.
Well, speaking of number 1, our man Wayne G for the Patriots End Zone says, Combs like the Jaguars, even though their quarterback is a bust. Lol.
He always gives me shit. Look, here's how I'm going to say that their quarterback is a bust. He is not what Wayne G and his guy Sully projected him to be. They're sitting there on their podcast telling me if you put a quarterback in a lab and you built him in a lab, you would come out with Trevor Lawrence. And I said, you're out of your mind. He's not going to be everything that everybody made him out to be coming out of college. He's just not. As a matter of fact, right now I have them at 7 because I do think that they are a well-rounded team. I do believe that they have a team that Trevor Lawrence can be just good enough to get them back into the playoffs. I don't think that Trevor Lawrence is that guy. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is the guy that you want leading your franchise trying to win Super Bowls for the next 10 to 15 years. He's just not. You start picking up quarterbacks. If we went through a quarterback list right now, I don't even think Wing G is going to take Trevor Lawrence in the top 5 or 10.
I would definitely take Trevor Lawrence in the top 10. So just because he is not, quote, living up to the hype in his 3rd year of the NFL, he is going to be deemed a bust. I mean, let's not get crazy now because he has. Let's look at his coaching. Are you going to
act like you didn't agree with me that this guy was going to be a bust?
I said.
Are you going to act like you haven't been on the same train with me the entire time?
I said he was going to be a bust if Urban Meyer was going to continue to be his coach. Once Doug Peterson came in, that bust label left Trevor Lawrence.
I'll tell you what. I'll let you have it. I'll let you jump off the wagon because then when I'm right, I'm gonna be like, no, you jumped off that wagon. You're not there. But let's take this theory into account. Okay.
Okay.
Are you going to take Josh Allen or are you going to take Trevor Lawrence?
From this point moving forward, as currently constructed, give me Trevor Lawrence because I see digression in Josh Allen.
You're dumb. Are you going to take, well, this is an easy one for you, Lamar Jackson or Trevor Lawrence?
Oh, Trevor Lawrence all day.
Okay. Joe Burrow or Trevor Lawrence?
Probably Joe Burrow. But how? But
I would have slapped you silly if you had.
But let me ask you this question. Would Joe Burrow on the Jaguars made a playoff run last year?
Yes. And they would have been a better team.
You what makes Joe Burrow better than Trevor Lawrence?
Joe Burrow, well, for one, the accuracy.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll give you
Joe
that.
Burrow is insanely accurate.
Right.
And to me, I just think he's a more polished quarterback. I have Joe Burrow as possibly the best quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
So I take Joe Burrow over anybody, but
he also has that it factor. Trevor Lawrence doesn't have that hoorah, let's go down there and like win this effing game. Joe Burrow, I feel like you would run through a wall through that guy over and over and over again.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, you're not taking Trevor. You would take Trevor Lawrence in the top 5. You don't think there's 5 quarterbacks in the league that are better than Trevor Lawrence?
I will give you the definite answer of Patrick Mahomes, and then Joe Burrow,
Jalen Hurts, right?
Like, let's
come on, Buck. Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts had a great year 3 or year 4, whatever it was last year, right?
Dude, he proved everybody wrong. Prior to me, I was wrong about him too.
Prior to last year, we were saying Jalen Hurts was going to be out of the league. He was a bust. He had to have a great Super Bowl run to even be in the league this year. Yes, he had a great season, but I think he has to prove it one more year to really put him up in that top 10, top 5 talk there. Let's look at Lamar Jackson. A great second year. What has he done for us since, right? I mean, like,
you taking Trevor Lawrence over Dak?
Am I taking Trevor Lawrence over Dak?
Yeah.
I don't. When we talk about, so I'd have to look beyond past the numbers and that it factor, and I think Dak has it. So I got to take Dak over Trevor Lawrence.
What about Justin Fields?
To be determined. I think Justin Fields will have a better career than Trevor Lawrence, but right now I think Trevor Lawrence is better than Justin Fields.
What about Kirk Cousins?
Oh, definitely. Wait. Is it 1 o'clock Kirk Cousins or primetime Kurt?
1 o'clock Kurt.
1 o'clock Kirk Cousins can be stopped at 1 o'clock. He's the best quarterback in the league out at like 1 o'clock. No, but I think Trevor Lawrence is better than Kirk Cousins overall right now.
Wow. I mean, I I highly disagree with you.
The only people I put over Trevor Lawrence right now is Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, probably Jared Goff, and then number 5, it is kind of a toss-up, right? Justin Herbert.
I'd take Justin Herbert all day over Trevor Lawrence. He's a guy we hadn't even got to.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many other quarterbacks in the league too that we just didn't even mention that you might take before you take Trevor Lawrence. Like I put him just ahead for me right now of Tua. And I might put Justin Herbert at 10. Might put him at 10.
I mean, let's just be honest. Every time Tua's in there, he wins games.
He does.
Tua's not a bad quarterback if he's healthy.
I'm not saying that he is a bad quarterback when he's healthy. The problem is he's got to stay healthy.
Right. So Dan Hood jumps in the chat here. Well, what's up, Dan? Glad you could join us today. He said, would you rather have Justin Herbert or Trevor Lawrence? Probably Justin Herbert. Yeah, Justin Herbert.
All day.
Yeah, I feel like that's it. Wayne G says, top 3 are Mahomes, Allen, and Burrow. There aren't 7 other guys better than Lawrence. So he puts Trevor Lawrence at number 4.
That's just crazy. He's got who in the top 3?
It goes Mahomes, Allen, and then Burrow.
Wow. I mean, the level of disrespect for Herbert, the level of disrespect for Dak, the level of disrespect for a lot of quarterbacks in this league.
How do we measure a lot of quarterbacks? Wins in January and February, right?
Yeah.
Who has a win in January and who doesn't? Trevor Lawrence has a win in January. Justin Herbert doesn't.
Okay. I mean, you made that case about Lamar a few years back, and then he won one in January, and then you still said he was trash. So,
and look where we're at now. We have Cam Newton and Meek Mills buying for Lamar Jackson.
Cam Newton. There's another guy I would take over Trevor. No, I'm just joking.
Apparently, Wayne G does not like my Jared Goff comparison. I think Jared Goff is pretty good. Dan Hood's like, wow. Arthur Brown says, wow. Guys, you legit don't like Jared Goff? Jared Goff, isn't he a Super Bowl? No. Did he win the Super Bowl?
Jared Goff is trash.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Jared Goff is trash.
Okay. Speaking of
he's the only reason right now why, I mean, other than them trading Jeff Okudah, which I still don't understand, but he's the only other reason why I'm hesitant on picking them to win the division.
What other quarterback do you think would fit well in Detroit?
What other quarterback would fit well in Detroit?
Yeah.
I mean, anybody. I mean, Jimmy G. You look at, are you talking about quarterbacks that are available?
Just quarterbacks in general. I mean, like, I feel like there are really only 3 quarterbacks that would kind of fit that Detroit mold. That's Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, and then maybe somebody like a Jimmy G.
I think you're crazy. I think they would love to have just about 31 other quarterbacks other than Jared Goff if they could.
They had opportunity to trade for Lamar Jackson. They chose not to.
I said 31 other ones. I didn't say who was 32.
Arthur Brown says, saying that Tua is a winner when healthy, why can't you just say he's top 10? Well, the key word is there when he's healthy. He only plays about 70% of the games of the NFL season.
That's the problem with Tua is, for me, he's just too small. He's too small to play in this league, and he's proven it time and time again that he's too small to play in this league. I mean, you look at those hits with the concussions over the last year, they weren't exactly violent.
Right.
You know what I mean? And his concussion issues are going to be a real problem. I wish he would stay healthy because I do think he's an exciting player when he's healthy. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that he is. I think his career is going to be short-lived. I really do.
Yeah, I think
maybe the new helmets
will
help.
What's that?
Maybe the new helmets will help.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. And speaking of some new news, which we're getting ready to get into, so this was scratched off our number 8, but the Commanders have officially been sold to Josh Harris per Dan Hood. I believe Josh Harris is the 76ers owner, I think. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm pretty sure.
So. Yeah.
Like, because the last I heard, it was I think got $6 billion or something for the Commanders.
Yeah, it's insane how much he's going to get. He's a scumbag too.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Harris is the co-owner of the Philadelphia 76ers and the New Jersey Devils.
When did the Devils change their name to New Jersey Devils?
They were always the New Jersey Devils.
I thought they were like the New York Devils. No, that's the New York Rangers.
Yeah, it's the Rangers.
Yeah, either way. Are you ready to get into some new news?
You're not a hockey guy at all.
No. I do like semi-pro hockey because I love the fights at the start of every third period. It's time for some new news, guys. New news. Combs, I got the odds. You got the evens. Pulled up here, guys. If you guys haven't done so already, like, comment, subscribe to here. Also, engage in the comments. We see all the comments, so roll them through. New news, Combs. Aaron Jones did not want to be greedy on his new deal. That's why he restructured. Are they leaving room for Aaron Rodgers to come back if he wants to?
No, they're done with Aaron Rodgers, and they should be. And Aaron Rodgers is done with them.
Yeah.
Bailey Zappi will take full advantage of any opportunity to become QB1. Does Zappi start for the Pats in 2023?
I think Mac Jones has to take his role and basically fail for him not to be the starter. But we'll probably see Bailey Zappi in 2023 at some point, yes. Jeffrey Simmons signs an extension with the Titans, says he wants to retire as a Titan. Always wants to be in the baby blue and gold. Should players really be saying this, Combs?
So, yes. I mean, if a player wants to stay and play somewhere, yeah, he should stay and play there, and he should be vocal about it. Why not? The Browns defensive tackle Perry and Winfrey was arrested for a misdemeanor assault in Texas. Should all Browns players just stay out of Texas?
Yeah. There's no happy ending in Texas. No more. Move on. Colts head coach says they are vying for Lamar Jackson, but they are focused on the draft. Does Lamar Jackson end up in Indy, Combs?
That would be a good fit for him. It would be a good fit for him. I think that that would be a good deal for both sides. Tight end Drew Sample had a tryout for the Cards yesterday. Are the Cardinals going to be any good this season?
Is Kyler Murray going to play? No. Is Colt McCoy?
Drew Sample?
He is a tight end for the Bengals last year or 2 years ago.
Okay.
But no, the Cardinals are going to be bad. Rookie head coach, rookie quarterback. Yeah, they're not going to be very good. DeForest Buckner restructured his salary, clearing $2.5 million of cap space. Besides Lamar Jackson, are the Colts making a move for somebody?
Yeah, I mean, the Colts are making room to try and get Lamar Jackson. We just talked about it.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos will not be purchasing the Commanders. Do they get sold?
Yeah, they just said it to what's his face, the Sixers guy. What is his name?
I know, but you put that question on there,
and I said not to do number 8. We made this last night before it happened. It is what it is. At the end of the day, this is what happens when you make the rundown at 3:00 in the morning and things happen, right?
Yeah. Especially when Combs doesn't get a chance to look at it until 12:45.
Yeah, and I totally forgot to do the slideshow, so my bad, guys. Normally we have images going on, but for some reason they didn't want to do it. I totally forgot.
You're slacking today, man.
Yeah, I need some more monsters. Give me the eye test, Combsy.
You ready for the eye test?
Always.
Combs's eye test. Look, the NFL and NFLPA have agreed on a new helmet for quarterbacks. It's going to help reduce quarterback concussions, which might be good for who we just talked about with Tua Tagovailoa. My question is, why are they only approving this helmet for quarterbacks? Why aren't we approving this helmet for all players in the NFL? If player safety is the biggest thing in the NFL, it's the biggest issue in the NFL, it's their biggest to-do in the NFL, why are we only doing this for quarterbacks? Why is it just a quarterback-driven thing? Concussions happen with wide receivers. Concussions happen with running backs. Concussions happen with linemen. Concussions happen all over the place. We should be developing a helmet for every player to use across the board that helps concussions, that helps reduce concussions. Otherwise, we're just going to end up with a bunch of people that stutter like Buck. That's my eye test.
First things first. My stutter is to blame on my mom. She shouldn't have pushed me out of the cart when I was little. You know how they try to have...
I thought it was when you came across the middle at K-State.
That was that one time. That made it worse.
Oh, okay.
But before we get into the if and then statements of the day, Combs, we got to ask this question. Dan Hood, lifetime member over here at Man Hour Nation, he says, Will Anderson might go number 2 if Houston isn't sold on a quarterback at number 2. First things first, the Houston Texans are taking a quarterback. It doesn't matter if they're sold on a quarterback or not. They're taking a quarterback.
You think they are taking a quarterback?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, I thought you said not. I was like, why?
If the Houston Texans are not sold on a quarterback, we will see them move back in the draft.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Buck, you ready for the pay the bills a little bit?
Yeah, let's pay the bills. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's do it.
Today's podcast is brought to you by the BetStamp app, which is helping thousands of people win at sports betting for free. They even let idiots like Buck win. I don't know what's going on there. The same way travelers use Google Flights or Expedia to find the best prices, bettors can now use BetStamp to do the same. When you place a bet, the odds given by a sportsbook will determine how much you can possibly win. Even when betting on the same outcome, different sportsbooks will offer varying payouts, and these differences can be huge. I've done it. I've looked at, I look at BetStamp every day. Hell, I did it today for the Boston Red Sox to end the streak of the Tampa Bay Rays. But I found the best bang for my buck. I found the best sports book. I found the best one that would give me the best odds for the Red Sox to win today. Thankfully, BetStamps allows you to easily line shop for the most profitable odds across all sports books. You can click on any matchup and instantly see all different odds for game lines, player props, and even future bets. Line shopping is the simplest way to find an edge in sports betting and maximize your chances of winning long term. On average, BetStamp users win an extra $1,000 a year just by line shopping. That's an extra $1,000 a year, by the way. So you add that $1,000 to my negative $5,000, and I'm only down $4,000. With March Madness tipping off, you want to make sure you've got all the tools needed to cash in on your predictions. Wow, this is an outdated one. March Madness is no longer tipping off, but how about this? With the MLB season tipping off, and you might get all the tools needed to cash in on your predictions, like the Boston Red Sox beating the Tampa Bay Rays and ending their streak of 12-0 to start the season, which is insane to me. Or you want to go bet on your favorite baseball team. You want to go bet on the players to hit, who you think is going to hit a home run that night, who you think is going to have the most hits. You want to parlay something. You're going to find all sorts of exciting upsets. Your BetStamp will connect you with the best available odds for every pick you make. You can find BetStamp app on the Apple iOS Store, Google Play Store, or through your browser at www.betstamp.app. To access all these benefits, sign up using promo code MANHOUR and start your journey to successful sports betting today. If you forget to use the code upon sign up, you can always enter our code in your BetStamp account settings afterwards. Check it out right now, betstamp.app.
All right, guys. BetStamp.app. Use promo code MANHOUR. If you go to the link in the description, BetStamp.app/groups, you'll get lists to all your sports books in your area. And BetStamp right now, guys, will give you the minimum deposit of all those sport books. So I got $185 about a month ago, and I turned that around to $1,700 so far. So I am doing good things over there. And Wayne G says, I like to bet that Man Hour will predict Caleb Williams will be a bust before the 2024 draft. Well, Wayne G, you just lost that bet because Combs, aren't you all about Caleb Williams?
I am not all about Caleb Williams. I know Wayne G likes him. I know that a lot of people like him. I was not impressed with what I saw out of him out of USC. I know he has all the intangibles. I want to see more from him this season. I'm going to be watching USC really closely this season to see what all the hype is about. Admittedly, I'd only seen about 3 or 4 games, one including the one where he played against Notre Dame. And so I haven't watched closely, but the 3 or 4 games that I did see out of USC, I wasn't sure what all the hype was about. So I'm definitely going to be checking that out a little bit closer. The jury is still out about whether or not I think he'll be a bust.
Yeah. We got a long, we do not predict a year and a half in advance, but sometimes we do. I don't know. It is what it is, right? But Combs, it is time to get into the actual segment of today's show, and that is If and Then Thursday here. So, guys, we get Combs off camera there. We bring up some if and then statements, and we indeed tell you if this happens, then this will happen. So, Combs, are you ready to get started with the If and Then Thursday edition here on Man Hour?
Let's do it.
All righty. So, guys, the first if and then statement of the night. Let me bring up the whole handy dandy notebook here. Combs, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't go to the New York Football Jets, then what?
Then he's a San Francisco 49er. There's no way he's staying in Green Bay. There's no way Green Bay wants to deal with him for another year and then another off season. They don't want that headache anymore. They're ready to move on to Jordan Love. If he does not go to the New York Jets, then he is a San Francisco 49er.
Yeah, and I've been going back and forth on this a little bit here, but I feel like if Aaron Rodgers isn't a New York Football Jet, I think he retires from the NFL because I'm not for sure if the San Francisco 49ers are willing to pay that asking price when they have a Brock Purdy, when they have a Trey Lance over there. Now, there could be some other teams in the mix. We could possibly see the Indianapolis Colts, right? We could see, maybe the Packers like, hey, you know what? Sorry, no love lost. Let's win as a championship, right? Or there's other teams out there. I don't know. The Arizona Cardinals, they need a quarterback, right? Possibly Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson, Denver Bronco trade, bada bing, bada boom. I don't know. But only time
Arizona only needs a quarterback if they release a new Call of Duty game.
Well, Kyler Murray is out for first 9 weeks of the season at least. That's right when Call of Duty comes out. So, yeah, it is what it is. But if Aaron Rodgers doesn't go to the Jets will probably be the laughingstock of the NFL because they have literally went all in on Aaron Rodgers, and now they're dragging their feet. It is crazy to me. Like, are the Jets like the biggest question of the season, Combs? Like, if Aaron Rodgers goes here, we are a Super Bowl caliber team. If he doesn't, we're last. Like,
yeah, I don't think they're a last place team. It's the problem is that they've put all their chips in this basket. They've already let Mike White go. They really don't have a leg to stand on if they lose out on the quarterback position. So I kind of understand where it's if we don't go and get them, we're in trouble. But they still have a really good team. So I don't know where it lands. At the retirement thing's a new idea to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's been contemplating. So before he went into that dark house, right? He said he was 90% retired, and the only reason why he wants to play again is to stick it to the Packers. Well, if the Packers don't trade him, how can he stick it to the Packers? Retire.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way to do it. I mean, I don't think that's really sticking it to the Packers, though. The Packers will be okay with whatever he does as long as he's not in uniform.
Well, if a player retires, does their dead cap still hit their cap? Like, I'm not for sure how that works. Do you know?
I don't think so. Okay. I don't think that you retire. You don't get paid. I don't think the cap affects the cap at all.
I don't know. That's probably something we should probably look into because I'm curious if he does retire. Are they stuck with overhead or whatever? Right. Moving on. Linebacker from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Devin White has officially requested a trade. This is a fifth-year linebacker going into his fifth season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Combs, this is a guy that wants out for whatever reason. But if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have come out and said that they're not going to trade him or even acknowledge that he wants a trade, if they do not trade Devin White, then what?
they're going to have a problem on their hands. Guys like this, if they want out, they usually want out, and they're not going to. You're going to create a problem in your locker room because they're not going to be into it. They're not going to want to. They don't want to be there for whatever reason. Whether it's they don't like the direction the team's going in. They have a problem with somebody internally. Whatever the case is. But this is a problem for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, this guy is a guy who averages 115 total tackles a year, averages about 5 sacks a year. I mean, this is a big problem for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They need to figure out a middle ground, maybe offer him some money or whatever the case is. Find out what the issue is and why he wants out and try to make it work, because this is a big player for them.
Yeah, usually when we see players that want out, it is not because, I mean, obviously money cures all, right? Winning cures all, but like I feel like there has to be some type of inner turmoil where he doesn't like the defensive scheme, where he doesn't like the defensive coordinator, where maybe he doesn't like Florida, right? And
right.
Dan Hood says, "Come to Philly." He would be a great fit in Philly. That would instantly put the Philadelphia Eagles up at number 2, if not number 1. Like, yeah, but if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do not make this trade and they have a losing season, things are going to come to a head there. We are going to see Terrell Owens 2.0 doing sit-ups in the parking lot, doing some type of dance. I don't know. It just, I don't see it turning out very good for either side if this doesn't happen.
I agree.
Moving on. Number 3 here. A big one here. Saquon Barkley says he is not going to sign the franchise tag prior to the Giants' off-season workout, Combs. Obviously, the Giants did not work out a deal with Saquon Barkley this offseason, so they decided to franchise tag him. If Saquon Barkley does not sign the franchise tag this season, then what?
Then he's not going to play. I mean, I mean, that's really the gist of it. I don't know why they would have franchise tagged Saquon Barkley anyway. I thought he was on his way out of town. I really did. I was kind of hoping he'd be a Chicago Bear, to be honest with you. But for the New York Giants with Saquon Barkley, you need to do one of two things. You either need to give him that 2 to 3 year contract, give him some money for the next 2 to 3 years, and then cut your losses then, or cut your losses now, because running backs in this game are a dime a dozen. You can find another Saquon Barkley probably in this draft somewhere in the 4th or 5th round.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I want to go with that. Running backs are a dime a dozen. So with that being said, if Saquon Barkley doesn't sign that franchise tag, he will not play the 2023 NFL season, because I believe he's still, if they were to trade him, they have to get a first-round draft pick for a running back, right? And if they don't trade, and running backs are a dime a dozen in the league. Last season was the first season that Saquon Barkley played a full season in his whole career, I think it was, besides maybe his rookie year. Like, he is injury prone. He is CMC 2.0. He is always hurt. So to say that you want that big money deal, the Zeke deal, dude, you are like Lamar Jackson. Play me a full season and then talk to me. Prove it on this franchise tag and then talk to me, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I wouldn't have handcuffed myself with a running back like that. I'm not using a franchise tag on a running back. I'm just not. It's not something that if I'm a GM that I'm willing to do. I will find another one of you in the draft somewhere.
Yeah, but on the flip side of it, that franchise tag is only like 10.5, like $1 million, like $11 million for a running back. So you can still find a running back in the draft. Then you can have that two-headed monster, right? So really the Giants didn't handcuff themselves at all. I mean, obviously not maybe working out a deal. They could have got it for cheaper, but I don't know. Like I kind of like the tag idea.
I'm all right with the tag, but just not for a running back. I'm just not. I mean, you're at about the $10 million mark for Saquon Barkley, but that's $10 million I'd rather spend elsewhere. I mean, find 2 running backs in the draft if you have to.
Yeah, and then sorry, I was on mute. Wayne G says he gets a lot less money in his second contract. Running back's going rate right now is $5 to $6 million a season. Well, this would be Saquon Barkley's first contract, Wayne G. Besides that rookie deal, and that's when running backs normally get paid. However, he hasn't been healthy, so there's no need to pay him. Just franchise tag him like shit. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not a big fan of the franchise tag for running backs.
Only time will tell, because there's 2 running backs right now that are franchise tag: Tony Pollard and Saquon. We'll see how that turns out. The last if and then statement of the night here, guys. If you haven't done so already, please like, comment, and subscribe to whatever platform you are listening to us on. I gotta bring this up. Sorry, he said, Arthur Brown says, Buck, stop with the Baker thing. Dude is on sticks and it's not s'mores. Why do you guys hate Baker so much? Because he led the Browns to the playoffs?
Yeah, I do think Baker's gotten a raw deal. I'm interested to see how he does in Tampa Bay this year.
Yeah, because they actually do have a really good offense and a really good defense if Devin White decides to stay here.
Yeah.
I got really, really bad cough all of a sudden. Damn allergies. Anyways, moving on to the next one here. The last if and then statement of the night or afternoon. It's not night anymore, Combs. It is afternoon. But defensive tackle for the Atlanta Falcons, Grady Jarrett. Am I saying that name right? Yeah, Grady Jarrett expects the Falcons to have a very, very strong defense in 2023. So, Combs, we got to raise the question here. If the Falcons do have a top defense in the NFL in 2023, then what?
Then they have a really good defense, but no offense. I mean, instead of losing games 35-13, they're going to lose them 15-13. It's this offense, under Desmond Ridder. I'm not saying Desmond Ridder can't be a nice quarterback in the league. They did pick up Taylor Heineke, which was a good pickup for them. He might end up being the starter, to be honest with you. They just don't have anybody. Their running back situation is atrocious. I don't like very many of their wide receiver options. Maybe Scotty Miller might be their best wide receiver option. People talk about Mac Hollins and Drake London. I don't see it there. I mean, you do have Kyle Pitts and Jonnu Smith, which was another good pickup for them. But offensively, this team's really going to struggle. So they're going to need the defense to be very, very good, like shutout good, in order to win some football games.
Yeah, also on the flip side of that coin, they still have Kyle Pitts. Well, Kyle Pitts may be a bust in the NFL. Wasn't he? Well, he was like a 4th or 5th overall pick just a couple years ago, and we haven't heard anything from him since then. But I'm going to tell you how it is, really, Combs. Are you ready for this? Buckle up for this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing here. If the Atlanta Falcons have the best defense in the NFL, or even a top 5 defense in the NFL, they are going to win the NFC South. They are going to win a playoff game. Hell, they might even make it to the NFC Championship game if they have one of the best defenses in the NFL, because we have seen it time and time again. Great defenses lead to success. The Ravens, the San Francisco 49ers, right? We've seen it. Bank on that defense, nickel and dime it down the field. Let Kyle Pitts finally eat. Falcons fans, get excited. If you guys do have a good defense, playoffs, baby, playoffs.
They're gonna be 4th on Bucks top 10 next
week.
Week.
Fuck yeah, they are. Hell yeah. Get it up, baby.
My God.
Arthur Brown says, lucky if they win 7 games. That's all they need, baby. That's all they need. In the NFC South, the first team to 7 wins is winning that division, Combs. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
The New Orleans Saints are going to win 10 games this year.
Are they?
Yeah, I really
Are you
like
sold
what the Saints
on
have done. I think the Saints are going to run away with that division.
Are you sold on Derek Carr or just the Saints organization as a whole?
The Saints organization, plus the fact that they went out and got Derek Carr.
Yeah.
I think that really is going to help them. I think Derek Carr having a change of scenery is going to help him, and I think the Saints are going to run away with that division.
Alvin Kamara escaped jail time, so he will be playing in 2023. I'm not for sure if he's going to get suspended or not. But Michael Thomas, just about 3 or 4 years ago, he led the NFL in catches. Really hasn't played a NFL season since then with the ankle sprain and gets suspended for fighting his coaches and whatnot. Does Michael Thomas stay in New Orleans, or do you think they're going to draft a receiver and they're kind of build like a new?
He'll stay there, but I mean they've got Chris Olave, they got Rashid Shaheed. I can't remember the other kid that they have. Traquan. I can't remember what his last name is. I know his first name's Traquan. Smith. Traquan Smith is his last name. But look, this team, I really like it. I like Cameron Jordan. I really like Carl Granderson. They're two defensive ends there. They're a good 1-2 punch. You don't want to run to either side of the line because both of those guys will eat you up.
Yeah.
I like this Saints team, and I really do. I just think that nobody in this division, they're going to sweep the division. Nobody in this division is going to be able to touch them.
Danny Hawker is in the chat here. He says Steelers will have twin 12 wins, baby. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon to you as well, Danny.
Steelers, huh?
Steelers 12 wins. I mean, it is a little too early to call that because we don't know how the games are going to shake out. I believe schedule release like May 10th or 11th or something to that effect. But to go from an 8-win team to a 12-win team, especially.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Are Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky still their two quarterbacks?
I think Mitchell Trubisky is no longer there, but no, Mitchell Trubisky is there. They let
I was gonna say he's on a 3-year contract.
They let Mason Rudolph go, right?
Yeah.
But Kenny Pickett is their quarterback still. They no longer have Chase Claypool. He is a Chicago Bear, right? Who was their number one receiver?
The Steelers' number one wide receiver?
Yeah.
George Pickens.
Okay. I mean, he's not terrible, but a number two.
Oh, Deontay Johnson. Sorry. Deontay Johnson's probably their number one. George Pickens their number two.
Okay. So, I don't know. 12 wins is a lot.
12 wins, yeah.
I mean, they do have the best defense in
there.
the NFL, and they added more depth on the defensive line as well. I mean,
yeah,
I
don't know.
We will break it down in May for sure. May and June. We'll give our way too early picks there. Danny says, I'm confident. And Arthur Brown says, dream on, dream on, dream on.
Dream on, dream on.
Every time I hear a dream, 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 or dream on, like I want to scream that Steven Tyler, dream on, dream on.
Oh, God, please don't.
Dream on. Jay Keebler's in the chat as well. What's up, Jay? He says, if they're starting Jeff Acuna, one side of the field is wide open. I've seen it. Bank on that. I'm not for sure who you're talking about, Jay. I just saw that comment. I'm assuming for the Atlanta Falcons, because isn't that who Jeff Acuna is playing for?
Yeah, that's who he just got traded to.
Yeah. One of the field. So is Jay saying that Jeff Acuna is not a very good cornerback? Is that what he's saying?
I don't know what I don't know. Maybe he didn't hear me earlier when I said that over the last 3 seasons, Jeff Acuna allows fewer catches than Jalen Ramsey, Jair Alexander, and Trayvon Diggs. And that's not just me bumping him up. That's the numbers that are talking. I don't know what you're seeing there if you think that he's going to be able to stop it. Maybe it's because he misses a lot of games. I mean, last year was his first healthy season in the league.
So Lions with 10 wins is the lowest. They might have 12 on the high side, says Jay. Lions 10 to 12 wins this season, Combs. Are we really jumping into this right now? Because I think the Lions are probably going to win the North, and the they are going to have an easier schedule, right? Because they were not a playoff team. The Vikings should in theory have a harder schedule. So 10 wins is not a reach, right?
No, you know what? I'd probably be there. I'm probably with them. 10 wins might be the fewest wins that they would come up with. I still have to see the schedule. I still have to see what it looks like. I still have to wait to see what the draft produces as well. I don't like the loss of Okudah for them. I just don't. I know that they did stack up on cornerbacks and defensive backs in the offseason. So maybe that's why they felt like there had to have been something internal with Okudah. It can't be his play on the field.
Yeah, I saw a chat from Jay here, and he says he was a healthy scratch from the Packers game. So
yeah, so it got to be something internal. I will probably be picking the Detroit Lions to win the division.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got to go through the draft and some preseason stuff as well, but I mean, they're definitely front runner. And Danny says, "Yep, y'all laughing at me." We're not laughing, Danny. Is just I did not realize that the Steelers, I guess, were so stacked. Maybe, I mean, is the biggest question for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Combs, their quarterback play? Because George Pickens had a phenomenal rookie year. The defense is still damn good. It's just like it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't. The Lions, they just find a way to lion.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Steelers as well.
Or the Steelers too. Yeah, the Steelers find a way to steal. That's just I don't like their quarterback situation there. I just don't.
We will see. We will see if Kenny Pickett has a sophomore slump or the sophomore jump there, I should say, not lump. I was weird.
Right.
But we got a couple more minutes here. Arthur Brown says, what do you guys think about Tyreek trash talking to the Kansas City Chiefs game already? Think it's hype? So as you said,
it's Tyreek.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. Tyreek just talks. I like Tyreek Hill. I like what he does on the field. I think he's a dynamic player. I just don't think he has a quarterback that can get him the ball.
Yeah. Hype, maybe. But I said it in a post earlier, Arthur Brown, I think Tyreek Hill will find himself out of this game. Whether it's illness, whether it's a strained hamstring. I don't think Tyreek Hill.
Where are they playing it?
It is at Arrowhead.
I was gonna say they haven't announced it, or they did announce.
Well, they have the home and away games. They just don't have like this schedule.
Oh, when? Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. Jay must be a huge Lions fan. He says the Lions are the fourth best Vegas odds to win the entire NFC. Well, that's not really saying much when the NFC is very, very top loaded with the Eagles, Cowboys, and 49ers. And then who else do you have? Vikings, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, no, probably the Lions before the Vikings, I think.
Yeah. I mean, fourth is not a reach, honestly, because the NFC is so top heavy. And Dan Hood come up with the final comment of the night. He says the Lions are tough.
I agree.
Combs, one more question. You talked about this Wednesday. What should the Lions do with their first round draft pick?
With their first round draft pick,
I think they're drafting number 7, aren't they? Number 8, 7, 8.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking up where they're drafting.
Draft a cornerback.
Yeah. For me, I'm probably going, if I'm the Lions, I'm going offensive line.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to beef up and help try to protect Jared Goff because he's going to need all the protection he can get.
So
he's not a very good quarterback.
I'm going to go on a limb here, Combs. Ready for this?
Oh, God.
You said Jared Goff's not very good, right?
Yeah.
I think Jared Goff has kind of been that bridge quarterback for the Detroit Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Since they are sitting at 6 or 7, I can't remember for sure. They have an opportunity to draft a Will Levis. Will Levis to Detroit. I think if they want to build for the future, they go for quarterback.
That would be interesting. And it wouldn't be a bad pick for them. I really, you can really fall into a rabbit hole. Will Levis, I've said it before. Yeah. The kid's arm is absolutely ridiculous. But if I'm there and you're trying to win now, I don't know that that's really the route you want to go. Maybe they trade out of it, or I mean, maybe the 3 technique from Georgia, the kid that just got in trouble. I can't remember what his name is.
The kid that was speed racing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, well, I don't know if it was speed racing. I think he left the scene of an accident.
Well, they were racing in it and vaulted in it. Deadly crash, and then he left the scene of
yeah.
or something. But it was a misdemeanor, and it's wiped off the books, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But we are up against the hour, Combs. Guys, we will get to your comments tomorrow. Jay, Dan, I see you guys. Thank you guys for commenting. Starting next Monday, we'll dive deeper into the draft to definitely get that draft hype happening. But Combs, send us out, big guy.
Man, our nation, rise up.